There is a trend that is emerging in Indian cricket at this point in time. Shah, who is the BCCI secretary, has come down hard on several players when it comes to domestic cricket. For 10 years, for close to a decade, the BCCI and most of the players, most of the senior stars, just ignored domestic cricket. You had the IPL. The IPL was doing great. But now with the frustration of not having won ICC events, and also because there is a certain section of players who think that, oh, only through the IPL we will get Indian player selection. This has forced the BCCI to look inward and say, okay, now there is a worrying trend. Now, in a letter that Shah has written to the players, he is warned of strict consequences. The letter was accessed by one of the media outlets, the Indian Express, and in that, Shah has warned of grave consequences. You all saw that despite the diktat that the BCCI gave in the sidelines of what happened in Rajkot, several players continue to defy the mandate. Ishan Kishan, Shreyas Iyer, Deepak Chahar. Now, Shreyas Iyer has not been part of the Mumbai team when they are taking on Assam. Ishan Kishan was not part of the Jharkhand team when they are taking on Rajasthan. Incidentally, the team that had Deepak Chahar in it. Chahar is busy in promotional events in Chennai. Ishan Kishan is practicing in Rajkot in an academy, but he is not yet match ready. Shreyas Iyer decided not to play against Assam. With the case of Ishan Kishan, you can understand that, okay, perhaps playing in the Ranji Trophy now is of no use because Jharkhand are no longer in the fray for the playoffs. So is Rajasthan. But what about Mumbai? Mumbai are through to the playoffs, but Shreyas Iyer did not play the last league game. And he is not there for the remainder of the 3 tests. Is it a genuine injury? Because if it's an injury, the BCCI did not highlight it in the press release. Has he been dropped? The common consensus is yes. Now, in yet another letter that the BCCI has officially written, Shah has not minced any words. There is no ambiguity whatsoever in it. The writing is clear. If players ignore the domestic system, consequences will be grave. So, Shah has written a letter that the Indian Express has accessed, and that's where he's warned the players. Letter has warned of severe implications if you do not play the domestic system. Concerning trend of IPL over domestic cricket. Thank you to the BCCI after waking up for 10 years that yes, there is a concerning trend that has emerged, but that trend we all saw it evident after 9 to 10 years. That yes, players are forsaking Ranji Trophy, they are forsaking most of the events, and that is why now you have got this concerning trend of IPL over domestic cricket. Players must prove themselves in the domestic system. At least in Rajkot, you had, and if you look at it, Vizag, you had a start. Rajat Patidar made it, Sarfaraz Khan made it. Sarfaraz Khan's debut indeed is a victory for domestic cricket because you are rewarding them. Last player who got rewarded was 6 years ago, Mayank Agarwal, but he too didn't have a big run for 3 years. 3 years he was there, after that he's been kept out. What is the letter implying? As I had mentioned, the backdrop is Ishan Kishan, Shreyas Iyer, Deepak Chahar not making themselves available for even the last round of the league games in the Ranji Trophy. So here, recent trend has emerged and is a cause for concern. The trend, as I mentioned, was the previous slide. Some players have begun prioritizing the IPL over domestic cricket, a shift that was not anticipated. Really. For 9 to 10 years, everybody of us have been crying hoarse that, oh, the domestic system is going away. The domestic system has been reduced to pittance. Now the BCCI in the letter has stated that, oh, a shift that was not anticipated. Either they have been sleeping over the matter or they have just been plain naive about it. Sure, regimes have changed, managements have changed, but the trend remained. Now when the water has gone over the head, at that time now you are realizing suddenly. Domestic cricket has never been undervalued in our vision for the sport. Sure, no board wants to devalue its own domestic structure because that is what has worked for so many decades. But with the IPL gaining precedence, the undervalued statement is kind of very hard to believe in this case. Every cricketer aspiring to play for India must prove themselves in domestic cricket. Non-participation, and this is a very important point, non-participation will carry severe implications. Perhaps this season the horse is bolted. From next season, when it starts from October, November, players will have to be made available. But is it for everybody? Now that is a different kettle of fish altogether. Is it for everybody, or is it for players who are aspiring to go into the national setup? Will they want to do it at the seniors? That is another cup of tea altogether. But non-participation will carry severe implications. Why I am taking all this with a pinch of salt is that the same commandments were given on January 2, 2023 when it came to workload management. But the IPL refused to listen. The franchisees refused to listen. And that is why you saw in the WTC what happened. Legends like Sunil Gavaskar exemplified this dedication. He said that, okay, after they played an international match, they immediately came and played the Ranji Trophy. When stars were playing, I mean, look at until the 90s, or even I may say until 2013, you had the likes of Ajinkya Rahane, Cheteshwar Pujara, even Sachin Tendulkar played domestic cricket. But yet, after 2013, you have hardly seen him. When was the last time Virat Kohli played a Ranji game? 11 years ago. When was the last time Rohit Sharma played? Close to a decade. When did the likes of Jasprit Bumrah and all play? 15, 16. After that, they haven't, because the international calendar has been cramped. Domestic cricket was seen not just as a commitment, but as a responsibility and a source of pride. Of course, Kapil Dev, I mean, I'll just give you an example of the 1991 Haryana versus Bombay final. In that, you had Ajay Jadeja and Kapil Dev playing for Haryana. Who was there? The Mumbai team. Sanjay Manjrekar, Dilip Vengsarkar, Chandrakant Pandit, Vinod Kambli, Sachin Tendulkar. You had Abhay Kuruvilla. 6 out of the 11 who played in that final were all India prospects. Tendulkar, Kambli were already there in the India setup. Kambli came 2 years later. Vengsarkar, then you had Chandrakant Pandit, you had Manjrekar. All of them had played for India in the past. But now, they played even the Ranji. Sure, what has absolutely derailed your commitment to the domestic system is your 2.5 month IPL. There used to be an off period before the IPL. There used to be an off period. 2 months you wouldn't play any cricket because the heat in India would be unbearable. Then from June, July, because of the monsoon, you wouldn't have to play. Then you'd have international commitments. Then your domestic commitments would be October. But your whole calendar has gotten revamped. And that is why India plays cricket all 12 months. There is no fixed window for a break. When will they get that? Now, with players getting the diktat that, oh, you have to play the Ranji Trophy, is it only for certain players or is it for all? We don't know about that. But the letter has been written. The BCCI have done their duty. Diktat has been issued. Now it's up to the players. If they don't, severe consequences. But we have seen this all in the past, and these kind of warnings come as no surprise whatsoever. Will the players heed to this advice, or will the BCCI take drastic steps? That you can write to us in the comments below. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget, we're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.